Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you probably don't keep yourself up at night thinking about which resistance bands are the best to use and to buy, but I do. So let's talk about it. My name is Shantae and I teach Pilates, but I'd really rather you think of me as your fairy godmother for mostly Pilates related tips. So I add in resistance bands a lot to my mat and reformer Pilates classes, and I've really started to notice there is a difference between how clients connect in with their body and the different bands. Okay, so I guess let's break it down to three categories. We have fabric resistance bands, and then that rubber silicone closed loop band, and then a traditional TheraBand, which you'll see in any type of rehab setting where it's a longer band that is not connected, although you do have the option to tie it in a knot, making it a closed loop, or even fold it in half and increase the intensity. Right off the bat, let's cancel out that middle group. You don't need to buy the silicone or rubber. I don't know what material it is. I should probably look that up. But the closed loop one, don't waste your money on those. That's just my opinion. But I think that the TheraBand is probably going to be the number one for your money. And here's why. Okay, so TheraBand is my number one choice to buy, mostly because of its multi-purpose use. You can use it in many different exercises because you're not limited to it being a closed loop. Again, you have the option to make it a closed loop. You have the option to fold it in half or multiple times to make it more intense. And then also you can spread out the band and how much you're using, which would make it easier. Either way, you can increase or decrease the intensity quite quickly and easily, might I add, with one band. And then you can also use it for multiple different exercises, which is great. Okay, listen, I'm not trying to hate on the fabric bands. Actually, my number one reason why I like them is probably the number one reason why I don't like them. And that's just how much give they don't have. I said that kind of weird, but basically, the fabric bands, you have to put so much energy and effort into to even move it a little bit. And though that's great because they're quite intense, they also just don't have the give that you would want to have a full range of motion with the band anyway. That on top of the fact that it is fabric, so you can't have it be stretchy to the point where you can move it in a fuller range of motion, meaning that the band does get slack and then it changes some of the exercises and compromises the form when you're doing them as well. But let's go back to the fact that they're quite difficult to use and why I like that. So if you're new to resistance training, using it to create leverage in the body, if you're just doing mostly a body weight exercise, you have the ability to increase gathering more muscle groups, not going slack with your breath, and always strengthening your core to get the energy to even move the band. I think that can be really a useful tool when beginning in your resistance band journey, or if you find yourself struggling to overdo it or not connect in with your full body in an exercise, because with the TheraBand you can kind of just move through the motions, but with a fabric resistance band, if you have any hope to move it in some of the exercises, you got to breathe, use your core, and gather that energy from the rest of your body, which there's a fancy word for it, and I will bring that up in another video. Anyways, all right, so moral of the story is, if you're looking to buy a resistance band, in my opinion, the best bang for your buck is going to be the TheraBand. But if you have those fabric bands or you use them in your studio practice, aka Junction 9, try to maybe use it as an opportunity to increase your mind-body connection by activating your muscles more mindfully and using your breath and more muscle groups to work together to get the band to move, if even a little. But this is just my opinion, so don't come for me.